Hey, what's up, guys? This is the Bernie and Marley podcast. I'm your host, Bernie, and my co-host is not going to be here today, so I'm going to do this episode by myself. And I know what you're saying, Bernie, why are you doing a topic on the dark web? What's this got to do with your podcast? I'm like, well, this topic here brings value. It brings relatable content. You're curious to know what's in the dark web, and you probably never even been on the dark web, and you're thinking all these crazy stuff. Oh, you buy drugs, you buy weed, you buy guns, you do illegal stuff. Well, guess what? That is true. You can't do that stuff. But have you ever been in it? So I actually checked it out with the help of my friend. I didn't go on it by myself. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to put myself in jeopardy like that to ruin my computer, because I don't know. I heard there's hackers, and then if you don't have the right security, they're going to hack into your stuff. As soon as you jump in, they steal all your information, your credit card, debit card information, passwords. I don't want that to happen to me. So I got a friend to do it for me. So my opinion, I'm going to tell you guys straight out right now, the dark web is overrated. Yep, I said it, overrated. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And it's like, well, you could make it where you know what? It's not overrated. I take that back. Damn it. We didn't go on some websites because we didn't know the website address. And you don't know what a website address is, think about www.facebook.com. Okay, so let's get a little history on the dark web. So pretty much dark web was created by the military. It was used to send private messages. And if you do that on the regular internet, it's going to get traced. Like, okay, people are going to be able to see what you're typing. You know, hackers can do stuff like that. So in the dark web, it's like you're secretly sending messages to other people without nobody knowing who it is, because you're just a ghost in the dark web. Nobody can see you. Send a message. Nobody knows who you are. It's pretty much freedom of speech. Freedom of speech exists in the dark web. Now, if you go back to the real internet, the one me and you use, like Firefox, Internet Explorer, then we don't really have freedom of speech, because anything you do, you type, you post, it's going to get traced back to you. And you post the wrong thing, people are going to complain about it. They're going to make a big deal about it. Like, oh, look what Bernie's put. Why is he writing that? And they're going to send it to your employer, make a big deal out of it. So pretty much the dark web is freedom of speech. And you get to buy some illegal stuff. Now, before we get to the buying part, let me tell you that 80% of the websites on the dark web are bait. By bait, I mean it was created by some government agency, FBI, CIA, and they didn't create it like by accident. It was on purpose to see, all right, let's make a website, a gun website. All right, let's see who are the people that are purchasing it. So when you purchase these things, you got to put your address where you want it sent. And guess what? When you put your address, guess who's going to wait for you to open the door? Yep, there's a FBI agent, CIA agent outside your house spying on you to see if you're going to get the package, because you ordered it. They don't know exactly who ordered it, but they know what address it's going to go to. So that's one way to catch criminals online, on the dark web. Okay, so let me tell you what my friend told me about the dark web, how to get on, what do you need to do before you get on. First thing first he does is he puts tape over his camera on his laptop. And then he tells me, you gotta download Tor. Tor is a browser. Think of it like Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari. You just can't like search dark web on the Firefox or Internet Explorer. It won't let you. You can try it, but it won't let you. So you gotta download Tor Onion. And once you download Tor Onion, he set up this VPN. It's his own private network. So what he did was he changed his IP address. An IP address is something that every time you send a message, and you can actually look up the IP address on that message, and they'll tell you exactly where you're at, who sent that message. It'll pinpoint. If I send you a message from my house and you look up the IP address on that message, it will like tell you exactly where I'm at, where I live. So he uses a private network. It's like another app or thing you got to download. And he pretty much you can put like, he manually input what location do you want people to see where you're at. He put himself in Canada, supposedly I'm in Canada, but he's not. So now he's invincible on the dark web. Nobody knows this guy. Nobody can see exactly where he's at. It shows that he's in Canada, but is he really in Canada? No, he's right here in the US, in California. Okay, so I'm right there looking at him. All right, so let's type in guns. And he looked at me like, oh, Bernie, you just can't type in guns. It's not like Google here. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, you just can't. You know, on Google, how you type in like stuff you want to buy, a bike, a game, Xbox, a CD. Who buys CDs? Anyways, I'm like, okay, so how do you see all these things? And he's like, you gotta have a specific URL. You gotta know somebody that knows somebody. And if you want to get into some really bad stuff, you gotta know somebody else that knows these specific URLs. And you're like, okay, Bernie, what's a URL? All right, think of it as www.facebook.com. That's a URL. So you got to know the specific website to these illegal stuff. And it doesn't end in .com. It ends in .onion/134 FTP 25. That's how it ends. It's weird. So he has a few, and he showed me. And he showed me this specific website where it's like the eBay of the dark web. Pretty much you type in drugs, but supposedly the guy who owned it got caught, served a life sentence, and it was shut down, and they brought it back up again. And I'm like, that's fishy now, because why would they? The guy who owned it, he's in jail, and they brought the page back. Okay, now that's fishy. Like, the government's part in control of that. They want to see the people that buy off of it. So, you know, like I said in the beginning, 80% or maybe higher, 85, 90%. I don't know the exact number, but I'm thinking these websites are bait. They're owned by government agencies trying to catch people doing illegal stuff. So if I want to buy that gun I see on the internet and I pay using Bitcoin. Now, if you don't know about Bitcoin, it's non-traceable currency. It's not your typical US money, because US money, if you use your debit card, credit card, it's going to get traced back to you, because it's going to go from you to the middleman who the bank is. If your bank is Chase, JP Morgan, or your Bank of America, it goes from them, the middleman, and then it shoots over to the dark web. So they know exactly who bought the item. So I think you got to be a moron to use your debit card in the dark web. So if you thought about that, slap yourself, please. Okay, don't do that. But you get the point. Do not use real money on the dark web. That's what my friend said. Now I'm like, okay, so how do you purchase things? And he's like, Bitcoin. I'm like, Bitcoin? Okay, I heard about Bitcoin. I remember when Bitcoin started blowing up in the stock market. Everybody was an investor that day. Everybody was buying Bitcoin. Everybody had entrepreneur on their Instagram because they invested in Bitcoin. Did they have a return? Yes. But then it came slowly crashing down. But the whole point is, let me tell you something about Bitcoin. Actually, let me tell you the whole story about Bitcoin. I'm not going to tell you the whole story because we're going to be here all freaking day. So Bitcoin was created by this guy named Satoshi Nakamoto or something like that. Well, let me see if I said it right. Nope, I got it wrong. It's actually Satoshi Nakamoto. So suppose this is, when you look up who's the creator of Bitcoin, it says some guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, right? But it's a fake name. Nobody really knows who owns Bitcoin. It's some guy, it's a ghost. Nobody knows. And somehow someone searched Satoshi Nakamoto in LA, and one guy popped up. And I don't know, look it up on YouTube. The news media was blowing up. They were at this guy's house like, oh, why'd you create Bitcoin? Why'd you do that? And this is not the right. He was wrongfully profiled. It's like that one guy with that name just happened to live in LA, but it's not him. He's just a regular guy who lives in a regular home with a family. And this guy came out on the news like, oh, I am not the creator of Bitcoin. Please leave me alone. He was being bothered because news reporters every day were at his house. People were messaging him. So yeah, long story short, nobody knows who this guy is, who created the Bitcoin, who created it. And Bitcoin, when it first started back in, I think, 2011, but I know in 2012, one Bitcoin, if you buy one Bitcoin, it was worth $780. So let's see. Okay, one Bitcoin is worth $10,000 as we speak on August 15, 2019. Is worth 10,000. So one Bitcoin will cost you $10,000. In December 15, 2017, the highest was $19,650 for one Bitcoin. Okay, so now I ask my friend, like, I'm thinking, okay, if I buy stuff on the internet with Bitcoin through the dark web and I purchase something, how do I know if I'm going to get my product? Like, can they just run away with my Bitcoin? Never send the package, never send the product? And he's like, yes, that happens a lot. But what happens is there's an escrow account, like a middleman. Think of it like a bunch of people in customer service. So what you do, a lot of these websites have this escrow account. Once you receive your product, they get their money and that's it. There's websites where there is no middleman. You pay the guy directly. So chances of him running away with your product are pretty high. So a lot of people do business with a middleman. Make sure there's an escrow. So for example, say I'm going to buy an iPhone that's stolen that I can buy for like $400. The most expensive one, I think, is like $1,200. The iPhone, if you buy at the store, I think it's 120 something gigabytes. I'm not sure. But let's just say I want to buy an iPhone and this guy has a middleman. It's an escrow account. And this escrow account is the same for everybody who wants to do business in the dark web. You hire this escrow account, and this escrow account, when you buy the product, it's going to tell you, have you received your product yet? And once you say yes, okay, then the person you bought it from, they get their money and you have your product. So that's the safest way you can do it. There's many times, there's many cases where people buy drugs and with no escrow, no middleman, and they just never get their product. They just stole their Bitcoin. That's it. Okay, so now you're thinking, Bernie, like, you just said one Bitcoin is worth $10,000. Who the heck buys $10,000 worth of drugs or illegal stuff? And I'm like, okay. So it's another cool thing I found. Apparently, when you buy stuff, you see a lot of 0.1, 0.256, like half of the Bitcoin. So you don't really spend one full Bitcoin. It's in chunks. It's in little pieces you're going to spend. So for example, I don't know, that phone is worth, let's see, Bitcoin is $10,000 right now for one Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't want to do the math right now on top of my head. So this iPhone will cost you 0.2 Bitcoins. You see, it's not really one full Bitcoin. It's 0.2. Okay, I actually did the math. It's actually $2,000. 0.2 is $2,000. I'm a dork. How come I didn't know that? So as we're scrolling around, we find some really tempting stuff. It's like, wow. Yeah, it's illegal. Like, for example, this is what we found. You can buy a Visa credit card that has $9,000 in it for $310. Or a $3,000 credit card for $100. Now you're thinking, okay, Bernie, how do these people get this stuff? Well, credit card fraud, like, think of it when those people call you, hey, you want a vacation? Give us your credit card info. We'll give you this great package. So that dork guy, dumb guy, give him the credit card information to a hacker. Yeah, that's a hacker on the other side of the line. And he just stole all your credit card information and your money. Or you ever heard of those hackers like stealing credit card numbers from like Target or Walmart? Like there was a breach at Chase, or there was a breach at Target. So many credit card information got stolen. So that's how these hackers get this money. Well, that's a few ways. So you find a lot of things. You find Amazon gift cards. So they're pretty much, what they're doing is they're giving you stolen money to receive real money. You get it? So at the end of the day, it looks like if I were to buy that, I'm the one losing because I just bought stolen money and they received real money. I bumped into iPhones. I'm an iPhone guy. A 250 gigabyte iPhone for $500. Keep in mind, these iPhones are worth $1,400 at the store, retail price. So I'm like, dude, let's get some of these phones. And he's like, no, don't do that. He's like, Mike, why? These are supposedly brand new phones. He's like, yeah, they're brand new phones, but the guy bought them with stolen credit card information. So I'm like, damn, what else can you do on this thing? I thought, because in my mind, I never been in the dark web before. The whole, the hype was all drugs, guns. That's all I knew. But apparently there's way more to it. Pretty much anything you can think of, you can buy it on the dark web. It's just good and bad things. Pretty much stolen stuff and very illegal stuff. So we bumped into this hacker page, right? This was the most interesting one for me. I was like, no freaking way. You'd be surprised what hackers can do. They can pretty much destroy your whole life. So I'm not going to give you guys prices because I don't want to put anything in your guys' heads, but you can pay a hacker to bankrupt someone. You can steal their money. You can pay a hacker to input child pornography into someone's computer and they will alert the police for you. You can pretty much just buy a hacker to ruin someone's life. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, whoa, hold on. You can pay somebody to input child pornography into someone's computer and they will alert the cops for you? And he's like, yeah, dude, that shit, my bad. Sorry for my language, but he's like, that stuff is life sentencing, dude. You go to jail for that. And then I asked him, okay, do you know those famous people, those actors, those rich people that get caught with stuff like that in their computer? Like, these are being investigated for pornography, child pornography in their computer. Like, they found it. I'm like, do you think a hacker did that? Like, what if somebody wanted to get rid of this person? It's like, hey, let's pay a hacker and let's stuff this kind of porn in their computer and let's just get rid of them. That's a life sentence. We'll alert the cops that they have this stuff in their computers. They're into that stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, dude. That is effed up and pretty disturbing. Okay, so I was like shocked. So I read an article, something about this kid in high school. He didn't get along with his teacher, right? And he had forgotten something at his class. They're already out of school. He went back to the class. The class is empty already. The teacher's gone. Teacher forgot to lock his door to the class. He left his laptop there. And he noticed it and he's like, he stole the laptop. He took it home. He was going through it. He found that type of pornography in his laptop. And he was like mind blown, like, holy crap, dude, this is dangerous. Like, I didn't know my teacher was into this stuff. So he gets this idea. He just did not like this guy at all. He hated him. It's one of those things where there's a student and a teacher just don't get along. It's pretty much picture that one kid that's always getting kicked out, getting sent to the principal's office. So this was this guy right here. And this kid in high school got this he had this plan where he's like, okay, he knows this. I'm gonna try to get there before he gets there. So he put the laptop back on his desk. He sent an email to the cops about the teacher having this type of pornography in his laptop. And come Friday, he's no longer here. He's like, they got a new teacher. 1 week went by, nothing. Nobody heard anything about this teacher. So I think he pretty much got him fired. He's thinking he got fired for that stuff. Okay, and another crazy stuff. You guys heard of red rooms? The rumor about red rooms? Yes, they do exist, but like I said, you gotta know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows another guy about these websites. You need a specific URL. Remember that. Well, don't remember that because you shouldn't be going on this stuff. It's illegal, dude. So these red rooms do exist, and man, what these red rooms are, think of it as, for example, you're sitting on your laptop or your desktop and you're watching a live streaming video of someone being tortured, getting their hands, their arms chopped off, their ears chopped off, legs chopped off, getting punched. And we're like, okay, we didn't have the URL for that. I don't want to see that. That's traumatizing stuff. I remember on Facebook they had people's heads getting chopped off. That thing freaking scarred me for like ever. That was like, it was too violent for me. I can't stand looking at that much blood. It's freaking crazy. So pretty much, well, before I keep talking, let me tell you something, guys. It's not illegal to go on the dark web. It's not. It's what you do on the dark web. It's what you buy. A lot of people use freedom of speech on that thing. You know, that's where freedom of speech exists, because you're allowed to talk about whatever you want without nobody bashing you, without nobody putting you on a spot, getting you fired for saying this kind of stuff. You're not gonna get in trouble for that. You're a ghost on the dark web. You get freedom of speech, and like I said, it's not illegal to be on it. It's what you buy. It's what you do on it. It's a lot of chat rooms, illegal chat rooms. They talk about hacking, they teach other people how to hack, and it's crazy. And they're making money off of these people teaching other people. All right, so back to the red rooms. Okay, so you have this guy in front of a camera, and he's being tortured, you know, getting his body parts chopped off. And we saw this on YouTube where this guy actually goes on one of these red rooms. He didn't go all the way in. He just gave you the cover, you know. He didn't open the book pretty much. And you got to pay. There's different prices. You can pay to spectate, just watch, that's it. And then you can pay to be a commander, meaning you're the one that gives the orders to the person. And I'm like, what the heck? This is another crazy thinking stuff. So the commander could say like, hey, chop his leg off. But obviously you got to pay a bigger price when you're the commander. The spectator doesn't really pay that much. Well, he does, but I don't freaking know. And I'm like, hey, why do people go into this stuff? He's like, there's people that like to watch other people get tortured. They like seeing people get hurt. I'm like, no way. It's like, yeah, dude. You know what's weird? They did this study where they say people that enjoy watching like really scary movies, like they have no effect to them. Like, it doesn't scare them at all. It means they label them as psychopaths. Like, they're crazy in the head. Like, how can you like this kind of stuff? Because these scary movies is nothing but blood, people getting killed, freaking ghosts, demons and stuff. And there's people like they like watching that stuff. And honestly, I don't like watching that stuff. Not to sound like a little girl, as I work at nighttime and I don't want to be thinking about that kind of stuff because it messes with my head. And I'm like, oh heck no, dude. So yeah, when you get a chance, go on Google and type in, man, how did I end up? You know how I ended up bumping into it? I searched Yahoo, and it was one of those articles I found on the bottom. People who are into demonic, torturing, bloody movies like that, they give them a word. I can't think of the word right now. Like psycho something. I can't think of it. In other words, the way I took it, they call them crazy. Like they're not right in the head because they're into that stuff. It has no effect to them. And I'm like, heck that, dude. Like I said, I watched that on Facebook. I can't believe Facebook allowed that. They were putting videos of people getting their heads cut off on Facebook, and this was blowing up big time. It's not even pages I follow. They just somehow popped up in my. Oh, you know why? I remember. I had friends sharing it. That's why I was able to find these videos. And I remember at first I didn't want to click on it. I'm like, dude, that looks like it's a chainsaw right there, and it's a guy on his knees. Something bad that I do not want to see. It's gonna happen. And then one day, you know, I was like, you know what? Let me just see. It's probably like a little joke. Like they're gonna pretend to cut his head. He's gonna get up and be like laughing about it. And nah, dude, they cut these guys' heads off. And man, I still remember watching that first video, and it was traumatizing for me. I don't have a strong stomach for that, but I remember after watching that video, I was sick to my stomach, dude. Sick. It just made me think how people can have the heart to do stuff like this. It's crazy. So I found this, what do you call it? This little ad. It's a hacker, apparently. And this is what the hacker's telling people. He's pretty much promoting himself. So, cyber extortion. Your ex is threatening to post nude photos of you. Someone have posted false information about you or your business. Someone has stolen your company information and wants money in return. These hackers can track a stolen computer, track a stolen iPhone or Android phone, track a person. Wow, they can even track a person. You know, I believe that because there's so many cameras out here in the streets, and it's pretty much like Big Brother watching. Everything you do, someone's watching. Makes me think like when these cops find that one guy. Like, you ever hear those stories where someone got killed in the alley and there's like no cameras around, or maybe we don't even know if there's any cameras around, and somehow they catch the guy exactly where he lives? It's like, how the heck did you catch that guy? But anyways, I bumped into this hacker website, and he promoting himself. So I took a picture of what he put. So this is what I'll do. It's like, I'll do anything for money. I'm not a cat. If you want me to destroy some business or a personal life, I'll do it. For example, simply hacking something technically, causing a lot of technical trouble on websites, networks, or disrupt their service with DDoS and other methods. Economic espionage, getting private information from someone, ruining your opponent, business, or private personnel you don't like. Private persons you don't like. I can ruin them financially and get them arrested, whatever you like. Damn. Wow. Now you're talking to someone that really has no he's not human. I wouldn't say human. Yeah, you're talking to someone that is not human inside, because I don't know, like, you do something bad, you have an instinct, like deep inside you know you're doing something bad. Why are you doing that stuff? How can you live with that? So I was watching TV, and I was watching this, man, what channel was it? I can't remember, but this lady had hired a hitman through the dark web. And wow, there was like cameras in the car. She was set up. She bought through an FBI website. She didn't know though, because it looked so legit. So she contacted the hitman, and they were pretty much just met up at a spot and talk about what she wants to do, like kill my husband. And the hitman was like, do you want me to tell him anything before I kill him? Before I finish him? And he's like, no, just take him out. That's it. I was like, no way. This was an undercover cop, the supposedly hitman. And they were just setting her up. They want to see how far she wants to take this. Like, she really want to do it. The hitman was like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, I'm going to do it. She gave him the money right away. It shows on the camera her giving him the money. Like, here, that's it. Just take him out. Do it tonight. And that's it. He's like, all right. So let you know tomorrow you're not going to have a husband. He's like, okay, I'm fine with that. All right, thank you. And I was like, wow. She had no remorse, nothing. Like, she didn't show no signs of like a sadness. Like, I want this guy dead. And she got set up, dude. It was one of those undercover websites. She got bumped into the wrong one. And I was like, damn. Wow, the crazy stuff you can do through the dark web. And the good things about the dark web, I would say, is you catch a lot of bad people. You know, you catch the sex trafficking, the hackers, the people doing illegal stuff that are up to no good. So that's why I think the government keeps this website up to catch these bad people that are doing bad stuff. So I wouldn't, if they came to voting, take the dark web down. No, I'll say keep it up so they can freaking catch these people, dude. There was another story where this one lady, she was a doctor, and she would go on the dark web to blog. She wasn't doing anything legal. She was using her freedom of speech, because what I'm about to tell you is people will be bothered by her, you know? They'll be bothered by, why is she writing this stuff? Keep in mind, when you do freedom of speech on the dark web and you blog, by blogging, I mean you're writing stories about your life. People, like on the regular internet, people blog about everything they do in their regular life. They went to the store, they ran into this issue. So this doctor, remember, she's not being seen. Nobody knows who she is. Nobody can pinpoint where she lives. Nobody even knows she's a doctor. So she's just writing about her sex life, you know? And she's talking about what she likes about it, everything she does, who she has sex with, how does she feel, she describes everything. And she had a massive following. People always, there was like so much traffic going through her website. And she was pretty big on the dark web because of her blogging, and people like seeing stuff like that. So after like 2 years of her doing that blog, she ends up getting caught. Somehow, some way, someone was able to hack. Remember, hackers can do many things. So this hacker was able to pinpoint exactly where she lived, who's this woman, and wow, One day she heard a knock on the door and she went outside, and guess who it was? It was the news. I think it was NBC saying if she would like to do this interview, and they blackmailed her. What did you call it, blackmail? They said if you don't do this interview, we're gonna put it out there. Like, this is what you were doing on the dark web. You're a doctor doing this stuff on the dark web. Like, what the heck? That's raising flags all over the place. She didn't do the interview. They put it out there, and it didn't go as big of a story as they thought it would. But I'm just saying, the dark web is, wow, you gotta be careful with those hackers, man. Really careful. There was this other story where this kid, he bought a gun through the dark web. You know, he got in through a legit website. He received the gun, he received the ammo, the magazines. And it's interesting on the story of this kid. It took him 1 year to buy a gun because he couldn't find the right guy to purchase the gun from. And he kept asking around. He finally found this one guy, but he kept getting bit off by other people buying weapons. And one time he was able to buy a gun, and he went on a rampage. He started shooting people. He killed, I think, 5 people. So the FBI showed up to his house trying to see what set this guy off. Like, why did he go on his rampage? They go through his computer. They found chat rooms of him chatting with people, of him asking to buy guns. Like, where can I buy it? And he managed to buy a gun from the dark web. And now you're asking, Bernie, how do people buy a gun from the dark web? Like, it has to go through a mail, right? Like United States Postal Service, or what do you call it? Amazon or UPS, FedEx. Well, these people know how to hide the guns. They probably break it into parts. They put it in a toy, stuff it somewhere. They do the same thing for drugs. Like weed, they'll probably send you a toaster and freaking hide the weed inside the toaster. I don't know. I'm just saying. This is what I saw on YouTube right here. Yeah, so pretty much the dark web is a black market. Anything you can think of, you can buy it on the dark web, black market. And for example, I saw kidneys. You can buy kidneys on that. You can buy body parts. I honestly think the whole body part thing is complete BS. I don't know how you're going to send that through the mail. It just doesn't seem, it seems weird to me. Like, what the heck? How you gonna ship that? Maybe I'm thinking they can pick it up somewhere. Like, hey, I'm going to leave this box at this address behind the dumpster. Leave it. And make sure you wire the money to me. As soon as you wire the money to me, I'm going to put this box right there. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. The FBI is listening right now thinking, damn, this guy knows a lot. But, nah. I saw most of this on YouTube through this guy named, I'm going to give credit to this guy named Lucid. He's on YouTube. Type in Lucid, LUCID. And I think he goes by the name of IAMLUCID on YouTube. So this guy just pretty much shows you how to go on the dark web. He shows you everything step by step. And I was like, wow, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, credit to Lucid, and thank you for posting those videos, man. And I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta get to work in a bit, and I'm doing this episode last minute. So yeah, guys, you guys can find me at Bernie and Marley Podcast on Instagram, or you can email me bernieandmarleypodcast@yahoo.com. And thanks for listening to this episode, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe. And I'm trying to release new episodes every week. I'm trying, guys. Okay, I'm trying, but it's too time consuming. But I haven't given up. Don't think I've given up. And I'll be posting more interesting topics, things you guys can relate to, you guys are curious about. I'll do my research and I'll let you guys know about these topics. So have a good one, guys. Laters.